Hey friends, it's Ruben with Hi-Fi MIDI. For the past few months, I've been focusing on teaching you how to use the strummer and riffer feature within Apple Sounds guitar and bass products. I hope you've become comfortable with the workflow and interface, but before I get into more advanced programming, I want this video to be a motivator for you to develop your keyboard skills. One of the most time-consuming parts of creating realistic tracks is getting that human expression out of your instruments. Sometimes this is best achieved through playing your instrument rather than clicking in your notes using a mouse. So grab your keyboard if you have one and open up your Ample Sound acoustic guitar. If you don't yet own Ample Sound's acoustic, there's a free version you can download from their website. The link is in the description. In this exercise, we will learn how to create realistic guitar strums using keyboard. As a disclaimer to the purists out there, I will break the rules of playing guitar. The point is not so much that I'm going to try to mimic every nuance of playing guitar, but that I'm going to do whatever I can to trick the ear and get the sound I want. Let's begin. I have AGT open with the Strum library loaded. I want to add stroke noise to give that extra pick sound that cuts through the mix like a hot knife through butter. When I made my first video on how to play acoustic guitar on keyboard, Ample Sound hadn't yet included stroke noise. It's one of the best features and it adds a ton of realism. I don't know why any other company hasn't copied it yet. It should be standard. There are two modes you might want to use when playing strums on keyboard. The first one is instrument mode, which follows the finger behavior of a real guitarist. This means that if you wanted to play two adjacent notes from the same string at the same time, you wouldn't be able to. You'd get this sound. This means if you want to play guitar chords with the correct voicing, you're going to have to learn the voicing on keyboard. Let me pan this to the center really quick. I'll make a video on that soon. The second mode is keyboard mode. And you can switch it by clicking on here and then you'll see some keys pop up. Keyboard mode lets you play as many notes as you can without cutting any of them off. This gives you more liberty as far as which notes you can play. Let's listen to some chord examples. Of course, this doesn't sound realistic, but it's still pretty cool. But if you follow these little tips, you can get some realistic strumming even in keyboard mode. And let's go back to that track I made. So I'm using Ample Guitar. This is actually Ample Guitar Taylor. It says M right there. And then I'm using Ample Bass J, Superior Drummer with the AOT kit, Keyscape Grand Piano or the Yamaha C7. Ample Guitar Telecaster. And as you can hear, it's panned to the right because I already have this kind of mixed. Then the bridge, this is panned to the left. Omnisphere, this is just a glass pad. It's one of my favorite sounds in there. And that's it. So I'm going to delete this. All right, let's get into it. To get realistic strumming, limit the amount of fingers you use to 6. Remember, each string is about a fourth higher than the one below it, so spread your chords out that far when you can. And not all chords are going to require 6 strings. Some of them are going to be fewer than that, maybe 3 or 4. So it depends on the chord. In this case, the song is in F major, so I have the root, the fifth, and the root again. And in my right hand, I'm going to have the third, the fifth, and the root. Now, to get that strumming effect, stroke noise adds that stroke sound whenever you're playing more than, I think it's, whenever you're playing a few notes at the same time. So I'm alternating back and forth between my right and left hand. So then I'm going to go to B flat. To get that slow strum, all you have to do is roll your chord. You can keep it simple and just do this back and forth. And you could even add some passing tones in there. And then switch to a different chord. And it's good to also add expression to the dynamics. As you can hear, I'm increasing the dynamic. I'm starting soft and I'm getting louder. I'm making it swell in the middle and back down. Now, if you're a guitarist, you might be able to tell just from listening to this that it's not realistic voicing, or it's impossible to play on a real guitar. But when you're playing it in the mix, it's a lot harder to tell because you have so many sounds going on. The focus is not just on the guitar; it's a piece of a puzzle. So let's record that. So the chords in this are F major. And my left hand is just playing eighth notes. While my right hand's playing the accent. All right, let's record that. Then I'm going to pan it to the right side. That way it stands out a little bit more. So I think that came out okay. Now, one last tip that I'll add is If your timing is kind of on, but there's a few mistakes, I recommend quantizing, but not quantizing at 100%. You want it to have some human element to it, so the timing is not going to be perfect. If you have it too aligned to the grid, it's going to sound robotic, and then you'll really be able to tell that it's MIDI or that it's a sample library because it doesn't have that human error in it. If you haven't done so, please subscribe to my channel for more videos. Hit that notification bell and that like button if you enjoyed this. Leave a comment below telling me what you liked and maybe giving me an idea for a future video. Also, if you'd like to support my channel, there is a PayPal and Venmo link in the description. I appreciate all the help. This keeps this content going. I'll see you next time.